morning, everybody. Welcome to the 50th episode of Driftless Knitting. 50 episodes. I feel like that is quite the milestone. I'm very excited about that. I am coming to you from Cross Plains, Wisconsin, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter. And you can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the Groups tab. We have a group. There's a couple threads that are active right now. There's a general chit-chat thread where you can go in, introduce yourself, ask questions, talk to people, whatever you want to do. Just engage in some way. There's also a thread for the knit-along that we have going on right now, and that is called the First Snow Cal. That was going from November 12th until January 12th, although I'm honestly thinking about extending it because here in Wisconsin, we have not gotten a lot of snow. We've gotten maybe 2 snowfalls, and only one of them stuck around for more than like 10 minutes. And it's gone by now. There's a little bit of snow like on the grass and stuff, but otherwise, you know, it's just barely white out there. I've been seeing pictures. I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here. I've been seeing pictures of and videos of people getting pounded by snow. What's her name? Oh my gosh, Maria of Ninja Chickens. She has a podcast, and you know she's a beautiful dyer. She does lots of natural dyes. I don't know if you haven't, go check her out. But she just posted some video of her backyard. She lives in, oh my gosh, she lives in the mountains somewhere. I want to say in the east, not the western mountains. But anyway, they got like a foot at least, if not more. I know that Maine was getting their first snowfall. New York was getting a pretty big snowfall. So I think that was the same system that was, you know, dropping snow on everybody. And Texas, what? I kept seeing photos and videos from Texas of them getting quite a bit of snow. And here we are in central Wisconsin with nothing. I'm slightly jealous, I think. But I think we're supposed to get some snow next week at some point. So anyway, the whole purpose of that conversation was to say that I'm thinking about extending the Cal because I feel like we just haven't experienced that snow like I was hoping to. And this First Snow Cal is all about celebrating the snow, celebrating the cold, the winter, instead of getting down about it. And I, for one, I love the snow and cold. I was saying in my Vlogmas episodes, by the way, I am participating in Vlogmas this year. I have a video up for every single day. I had to combine days 3 and 4, and I think I'm going to have to combine, that was last Sunday and Monday, and I think I'm going to have to combine the 10th and 11th, so today and tomorrow, just because we're doing lots of family stuff and Seaver's home, and I don't think I'm really going to have time or want to take time out to edit and upload a video tonight. So, and plus we're going to get home super late, but I'll talk about that later. So I was saying in one of my Vlogmas episodes that I think I haven't been feeling quite as festive as I usually am. I have my tree up, we have our lights on, we have, you know, I mean, everything is as it should be and as it usually is. I just feel like something's missing, and I think it is the snow. I haven't, you know, it's not white out, we haven't gone out in the snow. I have a new pair of snowshoes that I'm dying to use and nothing. So I think that's why I'm getting a little bit down about just the time of year. It doesn't feel like it should be this close to Christmas. But it is, and that's okay. And the snow will come and we'll be fine. And yeah, I'll just have to create that festive feel somewhere else. So sorry for the babbling. It is somewhat early. Well, it really isn't. It's about 11 o'clock, but I slept in quite a bit today, more than I have in a long time. Seaver got home late last night from the farm, and so he didn't get home till about 10:30, 11, and then we sat up and we talked, and we watched a little bit of Saturday Night Live, which I never watch, but it's kind of fun to catch it every once in a while. And we didn't end up getting to bed until about 1 o'clock, just because when you haven't seen each other for a couple of days, and he's been so busy at the farm that we really hadn't had a chance to like talk or anything. So we caught each other up on what we've been up to, and didn't get to bed until about 1 o'clock. So we were both feeling very tired. We slept in till like 9:45 this morning, which is crazy. But I now have my coffee. This is in my Superior Wizards drink tea, which I know is ironic because I'm drinking coffee. I'm obviously not superior, but and this is my first cup of the day, so you might see me sipping on this quite a bit. And if I'm babbling or not making sense, it's because my brain is still half asleep. I don't think I've even eaten breakfast. Nope, totally forgot. I'm trying to get a podcast in before we go to my Oma's house, and that's happening later on today. We're gonna leave about 12:30, and she's hosting us for our traditional duck dinner. So again, if you watch my vlog, I'm sorry this is all repeated, but I have to tell all the other viewers about this special tradition. So every year after the first snow, we get together and we have a big meal in celebration of the first snow of winter. And we roast a duck, we have potatoes and gravy and red cabbage and just delicious, delicious things. We haven't been able to do this kind of tradition for a couple of years. We used to when I was younger. My Oma and Opa lived next door to where I grew up. And my cousins, my aunt and uncle, did not live that far away either. They just lived maybe a half hour away. And so the whole family was right there. We did a lot of things together, which is why we are so close. My cousins and my aunt and uncle and my Oma and my Opa he has since passed. And my sister and I. So after the first snow, we would always have this big dinner the next Saturday after that, or the next, whenever, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all get together, whatever worked best for us. But, over the years we have grown up, we've moved away. My Oma and Opa had moved. They didn't live in, the house that they lived in for my whole life anymore. And we probably for the last 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, we have not been able to get together to have our duck dinner. And it just so happens that this past year, everything has kind of turned on its head and turned upside down. My Oma and my dad now live in Janesville, and he takes care of her as much as she needs. She's a Spitfire. My aunt and uncle still live where they lived my whole life, but my sister and I now live within an hour of each other and within an hour of my dad and my Oma, and my cousin doesn't live that far away. The one thing is my cousin Eric. He lives in New York City, so he won't be there today. He will be home for Christmas, which I'm very excited about, but he's kind of the one that will be missing today, and we'll be thinking about him. But otherwise, we will all be together, and that almost makes me want to cry. My family is very important to me, and not that the traditions are the most important thing, but I feel like when we get together and do these things that we love to do, it brings us closer together. So traditions in my family kind of cement everybody together and makes us feel close, very close. So I am so happy that we're able to do this tradition again and just be together. And so that is what we're doing later today. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I need another sip of coffee. So, 10 minutes in, let's get going with knitting, shall we? Oh my goodness, so much to talk about. First, I'm going to start with what I'm wearing. And I really don't have much space. I'm like backed up to the staircase right here. But I'm going to try and show this to you, and hopefully it's not too awkward. But this is my barn sweater by Carrie Bostic Hodge. And this is in the Matter Anthology 2 book. And I knit this out of Kenzie last January. So I started it, at Yarnology, the yarn shop I used to work at, we always do a January sweater challenge, and I chose this sweater. I had this yarn in my stash, and you can see the shawl collar there. It's knit in reverse stockinette stitch, and yeah, it's got pockets. Real functional pockets there, one on each side. Yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. It actually went up fairly quickly, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm sure in the moment I did not think that because it is a lot of knitting. But this is a worsted weight yarn, so you know, it's not as, if I had done something like this in a fingering weight, which I have knit sweaters in fingering weight yarn, but with the shawl collar and all that stuff, I feel like that would have, I don't know, that would have gotten on my nerves a little bit more. But I love wearing this sweater. In the cold weather, it is perfect. This is the second time so far this season that I've worn it. And I will be getting a lot more wear out of it, I'm sure, throughout the winter. So it just really got cold here, just, you know, last week. So we had a couple cold days before that, but last Sunday, if you remember in my last podcast, we were going to go for a walk at one of the state parks, and we did. It was like 45, 50 degrees. It was crazy. So this week is definitely colder. It's been in the low 20s most of the week. It's gotten up into the 30s, but so it's perfect weather to wear my hand knits. So yes, that's what I'm wearing. And let's get into the works in progress. So the first work in progress I'll show you is, I did not have this started last week, I don't believe. I talked to you about it in acquisitions because I bought this yarn. I think I bought this yarn last Saturday when I was working at Knit Circus. And this is, I'll just show you the yarn really quick, what's left of the first ball of yarn. It's kind of in that floppy stage where there's not much left to it. But this is our Ringmaster base, and it is our worsted weight base. It's 100% superwash merino, and it is squishy and lovely. Oh my goodness. I've worked with this yarn 3 times in the last 2 weeks, whereas like before that I had never worked with it before. But I knit something for a Christmas present, which unfortunately I can't show you today, just to play it safe. It is a finished object, but I'm not going to show it to you. Anyway, so I knit that, and then I bought it for this project, and then I bought it for another project, which I will show you in just a bit. But this is our chimney sweep colorway. It's a semi-solid, so there's a little bit of kind of variation. It's like a tonal, which I really love. And I am knitting the antler cardigan. So this is sleeve 1, and it's on holders ready to be attached. And this is sleeve 2, and it's on a cable, a holder, ready to be attached. So you can see it's kind of, and that's not the light that's doing that to the yarn. It's actually like that. So there's a couple little light spots and a couple dark spots. So that's really cool. It was really funny because I started this project last Tuesday, And on Wednesdays, I'm in the dye studio at Knit Circus. That's my dye day. And it was on the schedule to dye up some chimney sweep. And I told the other dyer, the main dyer, Sarah, I was like, that's really weird. I just started knitting with this last night. So it was kind of cool. I got to see, this was my first time dyeing this color. So I kind of got to see how it comes together. And yeah, it's really fun to be working with it and then see it from beginning stages all the way up to, you know, to the finished stage where I'm knitting it into a sweater. And then this is all I have of the main body so far. And this is a child sweater, so if you guys were wondering about the length of the sleeves and you were like, Jen, that is not going to fit you. Never fear, this is for a 2-year-old. So this is for my godson, Anders, who is my cousin's little guy. I'll be seeing him tonight as well. He is just a little bit older than my nephew Ronan. And he was born end of March, I believe, or beginning of April. I can never remember because I saw them right before he was born, and that was end of March. But I'm not sure if Lisa went into April with. Anyway, it doesn't really matter at this point in time. But he turned 1 this past spring, and he will be 2 this upcoming spring. And I really wanted this to last him for a long time. Lisa is really good about taking care of hand knits and appreciating them, her and her kids. I kind of mentioned that last week about Lena, her daughter, has a sweater that she refuses to stop wearing, even though the sleeves are coming up, you know, up her arm. And I think that's adorable. And which makes me feel like I should knit her lots of sweaters. You know when someone like appreciates something and they actually really love it and they realize how much time and work you put into this, and then you just want, okay, I'll knit you like 10 more. And it's like, Jennifer, that's so silly. But you know, the moment you're appreciated for what you love and what you do, it's like you just wanna give them so much more. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, so Anders is getting this antler sweater. It is by Tin Can Knits, and it has a bit of, it's kind of a plain stockinette body, but it has a bit of cabling around the yoke. And I think it's just going to be gorgeous in this colorway. I'm really looking forward to working on the cable section. Although it will be nice to knit some stockinette back and forth for a while after I did the sleeves on Magic Loop, which is fine. I fly through Magic Loop. I know a lot of people are kind of annoyed by having to push the needle back in and kind of turn. I do it without thinking. Honestly, like I was watching, what was I watching? And I was counting rounds as I went. And all of a sudden, I like looked down and I was at the beginning of a round again. And I'm like, what? So I had finished the one side, put my needle back through, and knit the other side without even realizing it. It's just like, it's muscle memory for me at this point. I don't mind it at all. So yeah, I knit the sleeves on Magic Loop. Those are good to go. You knit the body up until you get to the armpits, and then you attach everything. And then you knit the yoke, and I believe the button band is picked up. Yeah, it has to be. So that has to be done by the weekend after Christmas, so New Year's weekend, and I really think it will be. I'm not worried at all. Those sleeves each took me like maybe 2 nights of knitting while working on a couple other things at the same time. So yeah, I think it'll be fine. Get some more coffee in me. So yeah, this is, I'm almost done with the ribbing. I just think I have like maybe 3 more rows to go of ribbing, and then I'll start the stockinette, and maybe you'll see a lot of progress on this for next week. Because I really didn't do too much on that. After I finished the sleeves, I really didn't do too much on that because I wanted to work on a couple of other things. So the next work in progress I will show you, I knit on this so much last night, and if you watched my blog from day 9 of Vlogmas, my blog, my vlog. Oh my gosh, all these technical terms. I don't know. So I worked on this a lot yesterday. Oh, and I'm in the middle of a row. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here. I have like a few stitches left. So I'm gonna sit here and do this. And you could probably tell what this is. But yeah, so last night I was waiting for Seaver to get home, and I got off work at about like 4. So I had most of the evening to knit and to just be cozy at home. I did some cleaning. I cooked a homemade pizza. Again, all of this is in day 9 of Vlogmas on my YouTube channel. And then I sat down and I decided that I needed to start working on a languishing Christmas present. I started this back in like August, I think, or September. Maybe it was the beginning of September, I think. It was right around when I moved here, I think. I'm pretty sure. And it was one that was flying. I was flying through it, and yet I set it down for a little while because I felt very confident that I was going to be able to get it done. So I was like, oh, I should knit on some other things. I did some knit-alongs, and I did other things, you know, throughout the fall and into the winter. And then pretty soon I realized that I had not worked on this project in maybe a month. I really needed to finish it. So this is the Christmas present I'm making for my mom. And oh my gosh, it's really big now. I did a pretty good shot of it on my lap last night in my Vlogmas, so if you want to see it in its entirety, go watch that. But this is, I'll go from end to end here. Da, 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 da. This is a big, I was about to say cabled. It is definitely not cabled. This is a big ribbed blanket that I'm knitting out of super bulky yarn. This is Cascade Magnum in the, I always forget the colorways. I don't remember. I threw away all the tags. I'm sorry. I'm such a bad podcaster. But it's not, so it's the shade above Doe Skin Heather. Doe Skin Heather is like a very light tan. This is the shade above that. I thought it was something like chestnut or something like that, but I could be wrong. So I am knitting it in like, I think this is about 72 stitches I cast on. And I'm knitting it on size 19 needles, which are huge. Oh, it's so big. I can't show you the whole thing. It's very long. But the fun part is that last night I did a few rows with the brown, and then I went into the kind of pop of color that I'm adding at the end. So this is this beautiful burgundy yarn. Sorry, you probably can't hear me when I'm like covering up my mouth. This beautiful burgundy yarn, and I'm putting in 2 stripes. So there will be another stripe that size on the end, and then I'll do some more of the brown to finish it off. And then I think I want to go around it and do an applied I-cord edge. The one trouble that I'm trying to think about is how I'm going to block this. I do want it to stretch out a bit. When I'm holding it like this, it is very long. But it kind of all, like when it just sits on your lap, it kind of like shrinks down. So it doesn't seem that that big, that significant. And I want it to kind of lay nicely and be really cozy and kind of cover her lap when she's watching TV or grading papers or reading a magazine or something on the couch. So I'm thinking somehow I'm going to get it damp. I'm not going to get it soaking wet because it's going to grow crazily. And it would just be really hard to manage. Can you imagine putting this in the bathtub, getting it soaking wet, and then trying to squeeze out all that water and like lay it on? I'd have to lay it on like 4 towels and roll it up. And then I don't know if I have a place big enough around here to lay a soaking wet blanket for like maybe 2 weeks because it's huge and thick. So I'm gonna get it damp somehow. I'm still trying to figure that out. I might just lay it in the tub and somehow like spritz it so that it's wet but not soaking wet. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just like throw water on it. That sounds really funny. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know what I do when I finish knitting it. But I want to block it before I do the I-cord edge, because I-cords can be fairly tight, even applied I-cord. So I don't want to put that I-cord edge on there and then try blocking it, because I might not be able to stretch it out as much as I want. So long story short, this is almost done. I'm very excited about it. And it's super warm when I'm working on it. It is fantastic. I can just lay it on my lap and I'm knitting it and I'm all cozy and warm, and it makes me think that I need to knit one for my apartment. When Seaver got home last night, I had just been working on it, so it was sitting next to me, and he sat down and I was showing him, and he loved like the colors and everything. Like, he thought it looked really cool. And then I was like, and it's super warm. So he grabbed it and he put it on his lap, and I thought he was just gonna like test it out. And so I went to like, we were watching TV, and I went to like fold it away, and he was like, what are you doing? Like, no, I want to keep this on my lap. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. So yeah, I might have to knit one for him. Oh, keep the coffee coming. Whew. So that is this. Definitely I will have a finished project next week. Definitely. Hold me to that, because next week is a week before Christmas. What? Holy buckets. Okay. Let's move on to my third and final work in progress for the week. So this has not been getting the love it deserves, and it makes me so sad, because all I want to do is knit on this project, and yet I have to convince myself that Christmas presents take priority. So when Christmas presents are done, I'm going to binge knit on this. And this project is my Mountain of Minis wrap using my Bumblebee Acres advent calendar. So last week I only had the first color knit in there. The first one is called Pygmy Puff. This is the Harry Potter themed advent calendar, by the way, which I think is so much fun. Every single yarn is inspired by Harry Potter. It makes me so happy. It's kind of insane. So this is Pygmy Puff, the first one. The second one is Birdie Bots. So fitting, right? The third one is Helga Hufflepuff. That one should be pretty familiar. And I just started last night. I started working on the fourth color, which is called Butterbeer. So perfect. So I got like 2 rows in, and I was kind of doing this in the middle of like doing other things. And then when I sat down to actually like knit for a long time, I decided to knit on my mom's blanket, because that is not very portable at all. I might actually though bring this. Yes. Oh, but maybe I should probably bring my godson's sweater. It's just stockinette stitch. I was thinking I could bring this today and knit because there will be some downtime inevitably when we're all together. But yeah, I should probably bring the sweater. I want to work on this so badly. Okay, so Butterbeer is on there right now. The next color is called the 3 Broomsticks. What? I asked them if they're having this in the store come the new year, because I need a full skein of this. I need one. I love it. Okay, so 3 Broomsticks is after that, and then after 3 Broomsticks is Flue Powder. I only have a couple of these wound up and ready to go. The next ones they're still in skein form. So after Flue Powder came Chamber of Secrets. How wonderful. And most of these are available in full skeins. I know for sure Chamber of Secrets is, Flue Powder is, This next one is definitely Salazar Slytherin. They have all 4 of the House Founder colorways. So it's like a different take on the house colors, like Helga Hufflepuff, Salazar Slytherin. I'm sure at some point in this calendar I will get Godric Gryffindor and Rowena Ravenclaw. And then after Salazar Slytherin, fittingly, because we had Chamber of Secrets, Salazar Slytherin, blah, 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 blah. I cannot talk. And this is potions, so we're kind of keeping with the Slytherin / Snape feel, because Snape is, you know, head of Slytherin house in the books and everything. Oh my gosh, that's picking up really well. I love natural light and daytime. So potions was yesterday's color, I believe. Yep. And then today's, I just opened this. Oh my god. I keep looking at this. I can't get over it. I love this. Oh my god, I love this so much. This is, there's a shadow. What? This is Flitwick's Christmas tree. Can you even stand it? I can't. I need a full skein of this to do my Christmas Eve cast on socks next year. I just opened this like an hour ago, and I'm dead set on getting a full skein of this, even if I have to break down the Bumblebee's door to get one. Just kidding, I wouldn't do that, but yeah, so that is the Advent calendar. The pattern is, I really, really love this pattern. I'm actually already thinking about what I could knit another one in. I like that it's a rectangle. I like that it's gonna block out a bit. And once you get going, like, I still kind of have to look at the pattern just to remind myself of what row I am. But after that, I don't have to anymore. When it's, you know, it's like, oh, okay, that's this row, and then I can do it. So I still keep the pattern with me, just because the amount of brain space with all this knitting and the holidays and everything, I don't want to have to like really, really think about it. I just want to look at that, be reminded as to what row I'm on, and then just go. So it's working out really well, and I am so excited to have this in my collection. I cannot wait to see, so my friend Lisa, who bought this for me, thank you, Lisa, you are a fantastic, fantastic individual, which of course you guys couldn't figure out because I talk about her all the time. But my friend Lisa of Three Sisters Fiber Company, she is doing the Downton Abbey themed advent calendar, and I can't wait to see what hers looks like all knit up. It's gonna be, it's so much fun to have that surprise every day, and not only that, but to put it in a project where it's only that, and you can look back on it, and that's your Advent, you know, project from 2017, and this was day 1, and this was day 25, and in between is all the days of Advent, and I just feel like it's going to be such a piece that sparks the memory of this year. I mean, and this is a really eventful Christmas. Like, we're engaged. Seaver and I are engaged. We just moved. We both have new jobs. We are kind of in the flux of everything, you know, happening and changing, and our lives together beginning in a sense. And I feel like this wrap, wearing this, seeing it, is just going to bring back all the memories of the wonderful Christmas time we're having, the wonderful year we're having, and I just love that. Speaking of the bumblebees, though, Bumblebee Acres Yarn, I wanted to just say a little bit of something about kind of about them and about what is going on with them right now. You may have seen on my Instagram, I reposted a picture of Sam, who is the oldest daughter from Bumblebee Acres Yarn, a picture of her newest pattern. And oh, Sam, I can't remember, it's called Joy and Cozy and Joy, something like that. I will put the name of it down here. I'm so sorry I forgot it. It's a couple patterns. It's 2 patterns actually for these cute little cup cozies. And she designed this and she's selling them to benefit her, to fund a new insulin pump for her. She has type 1 diabetes and has been dealing with this for the last 15 years. Type 1 diabetes is kind of close to my heart in a sense. Seifer's niece, who will become my niece, has type 1 diabetes, and she is strong, she is resilient, and she's amazing. But she got it when she was very young. I think she was about 4 years old, and Sam got it when she was a little bit older, but still, a child. And this disease, this autoimmune disease where your body just attacks itself, it's so scary. So many things can happen if you don't have the right medication, the right equipment. You can slip into a coma. I mean, inevitably you would, if nothing was available to you, you would pass away. Your body is not creating the insulin it needs to break down those sugars. It's so scary. So, Sam needs updated equipment. She is not able to fund this for herself, and her insurance will not cover it. So, she has a fundraiser going on, kind of like a GoFundMe type thing, which is on, if you go to their website, you can find more information on it there. And all proceeds from this pattern especially, but then she was saying all other patterns from Bumblebee Acres Yarn, will go to fund her new insulin pump that she needs to get. So if you're looking for a new pattern to buy, or if you want to buy some of that gorgeous yarn, I'm sure every little bit helps. It's a family business, so the money will go towards helping Sam and her family in lots of different ways. So if you just want to go buy a skein of yarn from them, go do that. If you want to buy their patterns, or just donate, so just go on their fundraiser if you'd like to, and lend a helping hand. Every little bit helps, and hopefully she can get that equipment that she needs. Okay. So now let's go into some finished objects, because I am already hitting almost 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. I just love talking to you guys about this stuff. There's so much to say. Okay, so my next finished object is, I was working on this last week, and you'll probably recognize it. I haven't seamed it or woven in the ends, but it is blocked. And this is the Iquay cowl by Hilary Smith Callis. And it is just again, it's not seamed together, but it's a like bandana style cowl. So it will seam together in the back, and it will just lay like that. How cute. So this is a Christmas present again. Well, I won't say who it's for. Oh, I did last week. Okay, it's for my sister. So I think she will really love these colors and love something that she can wear under her coat, but then also maybe wear, at work. It's going to be, really pretty and not too heavy. This is Malabrigo sock yarn in the Rayon Vert colorway. So mostly purples, like dark and light purples, but then there's hints of, I don't know if you can see that or if the light is working at all, but there's hints of green kind of that pop up, and just create this really cool colorway. So I love this. It actually worked up quite fast, even though it's fingering weight. I had to stop. I didn't increase to the amount that they wanted me to, and I had to decrease kind of quickly, or at least stop my, I guess stop early. The way it's knit, it's not just increase then decrease. It's a little bit different than that, and I won't go into it because it's a pay-for pattern. But I had to stop a little early, so you can see here the two ends where you're seaming it up. This back end is a little bit longer, and I'm not even, like, I could stretch this out more and it would be even longer. But I'm just going to, when I'm mattressing or stitching this together, I'm just going to kind of scrunch the longer side in a little bit and kind of stretch the short side, and hopefully they will match a little bit. But this is going to be on her neck. It's going to be kind of slouching down in the back. No one's going to see it, and it won't take any of the function out of this piece. So I didn't have enough yarn. I guess that's the main story here. This was about half a skein, about 220 yards of fingering weight yarn, and the pattern calls for around 300. So I knew I was short, but I was kind of hoping that I would get away with it. This is leftovers from a pair of socks that I knit myself a while ago. And yeah, so I just really liked the color. I wanted to use this out of my stash, and I thought my sister would absolutely love this colorway. So that's why I did that. But I think overall it's gonna work. I wish I would have had enough to just do the pattern like, you know, like she wrote it, but I did have to fudge it a little bit, but it's done. So I will seam that up, weave in the ends, and wrap it up for Christmas. My next finished object, well, I do have the one that I'm not going to show you. It's upstairs. It's a Christmas present, and I'm pretty sure the person it's for watches this podcast, so I'm not going to even show the yarn or show the project. Oh, my coffee's starting to get cold. Sadness. So my next finished object is a hat, and I just started this hat Friday night, and I finished it yesterday. So it's still damp because I blocked it last night. Oh, it's really damp. Ooh. So I decided I wanted to knit a Christmas present for my best friend, one of my best friends who lives in DC, and I wanted to knit it out of Knit Circus yarn. And one of the reasons for that is obviously I'm surrounded by it all day and it's beautiful, and I really wanted to work with it again. The other reason was I wanted to include it in a blog post that I just did for Knit Circus for their website about last minute gifts. And I included 3 or 4 patterns, you know, off of Ravelry. And then I thought, and this is only slightly selfish, I was thinking about my hat pattern, my favorite hat that I wear, which I designed, called the Bluff Top hat. And I thought about how cool it would look in this yarn and how fast it knits up. And I thought, you know, that would be the perfect, one of the perfect patterns to put in this blog post about quick knits. It's interesting, it's fun, it's a little bit different with the, you know, the twisted, I'll show you the twisted rib brim. I just thought it would be really cool. And so I didn't want to put it on there without knitting it in Knit Circus yarn, obviously. We're, you know, it's a business. We're trying to show what you can make with our yarns. So I whipped this up really fast, and it just so happened that I was looking for a project to knit for Caitlin. And I think she's really, really gonna love this. So this is knit out of our Happy Little Trees colorway, and it's a chromatic gradient, which means that the colors, it's just one color that goes from dark to light. And this is very subtle in the hat because the dark section is so, you know, it changes so gradually. The dark is so dark, and it really doesn't lighten up that much. But when I do the pom-pom for the top of it, so the light part of it is right there. This is how much I had left after knitting this hat. So quite a bit. You only need like 120 yards or something. And this skein, our Ringmaster 100 gram skeins have 185 yards. So I'm going to start from the inside and go out when I make the pom-pom because I want to make sure I get that light color in there. And I don't want to like cut part of the skein off because I'm not really sure how much I'm going to need for the pom-pom. I'm not going to need this whole thing, but I just want to play it safe. So I'll pull from the inside and get that really nice light green. And so it will be a gradient from the dark brim up to the light pom-pom. The gradient will continue up into the pom-pom, which I think is really cool. So yeah, this is the bluff top hat. It took me less than 24 hours to make it, which is the point. And yeah, this is, like I said, mine that I wear. You see me in it a lot if you watch my vlogs. It is my favorite hat to wear. It's warm. This is, you know, a worsted weight yarn, and I love the moss stitch. It's knit in a double moss stitch. Sorry, I didn't really tell you much about the pattern. It's knit in a double moss stitch, and it has a twisted rib brim, and it's really, really fun and fast to knit. And it is a little slouchy. It's not too slouchy. If you want it to be like a big slouch, you could just continue with the body, you know, pattern longer. It tells you to knit the body until the entire piece measures 7.5 inches, but you could just add an inch to that or so and then continue with the decreases. It's really, really easy to, you know, to change that way. So I think she's really gonna like that, and I was able to finish it in time to take a couple pictures. I haven't made the pom-pom, obviously, but I did take some pictures of it on a mannequin head and put that in the blog post. So I think that's really cool to be able to feature one of my patterns in, you know, the yarn of the company that I work at, and kind of tie it all together. So next I'm going to talk about an amazing package that came in the mail last week. I didn't show you one of the things when I was showing you my advent calendar. I purposely didn't show you what bag I have it in. And that is because I received a package from Beth, who is BB Knitter on Ravelry. And Beth, I met you, right? I think I met you at Shepherd's Harvest last spring, and she introduced herself, and she was a fellow Minnesotan. Obviously now I live in Wisconsin, but she has just started making project bags and has an Etsy store, and come to find out she's just starting to dye yarn. I don't think she has any for sale quite yet, but yeah, I opened this package and, well, I'll get there. So she commented on when I was participating in Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, which I granted a few, and then I had 2 or 3 granted for me, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had 3 granted. One of them hasn't come yet, which is totally fine. She was gonna make something for me, so yeah, so that's totally fine. But anyway, so this was my second package that I got from Beth, and I had wished for a Christmassy or festive project bag because I don't have any Christmas project bags. And with my, you know, advent calendar starting and then doing, you know, my Christmas Eve cast on, I really wanted something, you know, holiday-ish to put it in. So she said that she could make me one, which was, you know, super, super nice. I love it that it's not just a bag, you know, she actually made this bag. So she sent me this, which is so adorable. The deer and the poinsettias, it's so festive and so me. And the cardinals. I love cardinals. They always remind me of my Opa, who passed away. He was such a fan of watching the birds. They always had bird feeders and bird seed out, and cardinals, for some reason, I don't know if he talked about cardinals or always pointed them out, but for some reason I link that in my head. And there was a time right before his funeral, I remember I was already at my Oma's house. We were getting ready for the funeral, and my cousins and everyone, they were driving up, you know, for the weekend for the funeral. And I was talking to my cousin Lisa on the phone, and I was kind of in a back room, and she was asking, you know, about logistics and what was happening, and just kind of going through, you know, like you do for funerals, you kind of have to figure all this stuff out. And so I was telling her about this, and I was saying, you know, how, you know, we're, you know, kind of stressed out. Oma was stressed out and sad and all this stuff. And, you know, we were going to get through it and it was going to be okay, but, you know, it was really hard. And then all of a sudden, right in the tree that was right outside the window, a bright red male cardinal landed in this tree and just like was like staring at me through the window. And I had already associated cardinals with my Opa, but this cardinal was he was just looking at me the entire time I was talking to Lisa, you know, about this, and just wasn't flying off, wasn't, just sitting there on the branch just looking at me. And I was like, you know, I'm not always one to associate everything with like a sign or something, but in that case it brought so much peace, and you know, just reminded me of how much my Opa loved us all, and it was really cool. So, oh my gosh, this episode, I'm getting emotional about everything. So, just the fact that this also, you know, has those cardinals on there. I love it so much. Love it so much. And it has this great handle here, and she even put a snowflake like progress keeper attached to the zipper pull. So I kept that on there. There was also a snowman. He's hiding in here somewhere. There he is. That was on there, but it was really heavy. It was making the bag like kind of fold in on itself. So I just kind of took him off and put him inside the bag, although I might hang him on the tree. He kind of is like an ornament. He's got this gold string on him, and he's just this really, really cute snowman. So I love that. So I was expecting a festive bag. I really was. But then when I opened the package, I was just absolutely blown away. So this bag was in there, but then I also had this bag in there, which I absolutely love. And I really hope, Beth, I hope this wasn't supposed to be like a giveaway bag. You didn't specify that in the package, and I just I was so excited that I just like claimed this one as well. This one is so summery to me with the sprigs of flowers, and blue is my favorite color. I love blue, and I love the contrast of blue and white. Well, and you can see navy blue, light blue, blue in general, I love. So I kind of claimed this bag, and if it was supposed to be a giveaway, Beth, please let me know, because I don't want to be selfish. I honestly didn't even think about that when I was opening the package. I was just like, bags! I have all the bags! So yeah, so I love this. And again, it has the great handle. This one is the same fabric as the bag, which I love this fabric so much. And then the white zipper pull, and it has contrasting fabric inside. Not really contrasting, it goes really well, but different fabric. This kind of reminds me of roses. Like if you look down into a rose, all the different layers of petals. That's really cool. So she included that. She included a lot of other little goodies, stitch markers and progress keepers and things like that. They're upstairs in my notions. I did not grab those. But she also included a skein of yarn. And I grabbed this and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. And then as I was doing, I did like an Instagram story on, you know, the package and all this stuff. And then I realized that her name was on the tag, that she dyed this yarn. And I don't think she is selling it yet, like I said. But this is a one-of-a-kind. It's 100% superwash merino, 436 yards. And she is calling this Grand Canyon Dawn, one of a kind. And Beth Block is, oh, there's shadow. What's that shadow from? And hopefully she will be starting to sell this yarn, because this is gorgeous. Look at those colors. This honestly reminds me of the yarn I knit this summer into my Rhinebeck is Calling socks, which was Lisa's Fall on the Farm colorway. Had a lot of the same colors. I think Lisa's had a little bit more blue, but this has like a purpley blue in there. See that that color right there, and oranges and browns and yellows, and it's just gorgeous. So I was excited about this, and then I was like, oh, I should show the tag, and I flipped it over, and I'm like, Beth, you dyed this? What? This is amazing. And she said she was just getting started. She hadn't really, done it for very long, and she's hoping to sell them soon, but hasn't put them up in the shop yet. Beth, you really should. This is incredible. You're a great dyer, honestly. I can't wait to work with this. So yeah, she sent me a skein of yarn, 2 project bags, a bunch of goodies, some tea, some chocolate. Oh, she sent me those Ghirardelli, it's the peppermint bark, the dark chocolate peppermint bark, which I was kind of hoarding, and I actually just ate one last night. And so Christmassy, oh my gosh. This year I'm really liking peppermint and mint in general. I'm not always a huge peppermint or mint fan, and I've been really liking like the Andes mints. I got a bunch of those from a friend, and I've been eating those not every day, but like for a little treat, after lunch, I'll have an Andes mint, and these Ghirardelli things are just amazing. Oh my gosh. So I think I might like mint now, which is very strange, but awesome. I'm not going to complain because it's delicious. So the last thing I want to talk about is not really an acquisition, but it will be an acquisition for one of you. I talked earlier about my first snow cal, which is going into January, and you can do I didn't really tell like the rules about it. You can do any project or yarn that is winter themed, snow themed, Christmas themed, and you can also do a project that, I think a couple people were doing really cushy woolly socks, slippers, blankets, anything that kind of evokes that cozy winter, snow day type of feel. So that's going on. There is a thread for it in the Ravelry group. You don't have to please post your finished objects, but there is no chatter thread and finished objects thread. So in order to qualify for a prize, you don't have to finish something. You just have to be working on something throughout this, these months that qualifies. So we have quite a few people that have been talking. I've been talking in the thread too, and when I come to choose a prize, if I land on one of my posts, I will obviously pick again. But yeah, so we have a lot of people participating in that, and I wanted to show you what one of the prizes is going to be. This was very generously donated by the yarn company that I work for, Knit Circus Yarns here in Madison, Wisconsin, and it is one of our gradient skeins of yarn. So this was a brand new colorway this year, and it's not really showing up. That green in the middle isn't as dark as it looks. Neither is the blue. It's actually like a blue-gray on the outside. It looks very gray here. But this is one of our new seasonal colorways, and it's called Winter Wonderland. And I thought it would be absolutely perfect for the first snow cal. This is dyed, I was about to say, this is knit in. This is our Greatest of Ease base, which is merino and nylon, 100 grams, 400 yards. And yeah, so this is going to be included in the prize package. Yeah, that green in the middle, it's coming out very dark. It's a very minty green, and the blue grays on the outside are much lighter than what's showing up as well, just so you know. And I love this colorway. This was one of the first colorways that came out when I first started working there. I started full-time like the end of October-ish? Yeah. So I got the job. I got a part-time job there first for the beginning of, at the beginning of September, mid-September. Oh yeah, not really. It was like beginning of October because I was unemployed for about a month. So I got this part-time job, and I was going to try and work a full-time job around it, or work this job around a full-time job. And then a lot of things happened, and it turns out they needed someone full-time. So I worked there at Knit Circus, and this was coming out right when I do a lot of the social media. If you see our posts, our Facebook posts, Instagram, that's mostly me doing those, the Instagram stories, Instagram lives, things like that. It's part of my job. And so I was posting about this colorway, and I loved the look of it. I loved how wintry it looked without being Christmassy. And yeah, when Jala, the owner, was saying that I should, give something away on my podcast, I told her about this cal I was doing, and she's like, yeah, pick a skein of yarn, do a prize. And this one came to mind as being just perfect for a prize for snow cal. So yay, that will be included, and I'm really excited to give you guys a skein of yarn from the company I work for. So that's about it for me. I think I covered everything I wanted to, and we are just over an hour. Maybe with a little editing it'll be under an hour, we'll see. But I hope you all have had, because by the time this comes out it will be Monday, I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend and a really great start to your week. You're probably through your Monday by now, so good for you. And if not, keep trucking. I will see you all again next week for another episode, and I wanted to say a big thank you to all of my returning viewers. You've come back for, 50 episodes, and I think that is fantastic and amazing, and I am beyond grateful to all of you. And if you are watching this podcast for the first time, thank you so much for giving it a try. I really hope that you liked what you saw. If you did, you can give the video a thumbs up, and you could even maybe hit subscribe if you'd like to, and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll get a notification every time I put up a new episode. Also, if you'd like to see more of a day-to-day of my life, a record of my life, then please watch the vlog episodes. I will be putting up an episode for every day up until December 25th. And then I might do a little bit more, because we have a lot of family celebrations even after the 25th. So yeah, please watch those if you're interested. And thank you so much for checking out my podcast. I will see you all again very, very soon. In the meantime, do things that make your heart happy, and happy holidays. Thanks again. Bye.